Oh So Simply, and today we will be filling out our taxes together. Whoop whoop. Who doesn't love taxes? But in all seriousness, this is a much requested video of exactly how I file my taxes. This raises the question, as a nanny, do I file my taxes as an employee or an independent contractor? I will be giving you a brief answer in the beginning of this video, but whether or not you are filing as an employee or an independent contracting nanny, you can definitely follow along in the Tax With Me video, because I am just showing you how I prepare all of my numbers and all of my paperwork and get it ready to fill in my tax information online. So today's video is perfect for anybody, no matter what kind of taxes you're filing. Here's the timestamp. You can go ahead and jump right into the Tax With Me video. If you like to stick around because you're curious about whether or not to file as an independent contractor or an employee, here's the brief answer. If you do a quick search online, you'll find many resources saying that nannies cannot be independent contractors, and at the same time, you see people, nannies well known, who are. So what's the deal? Today I'm going to give you a brief covering of the answer of whether or not you can be an independent contractor or an employee as a nanny. And if you want more in-depth information, I will link the article that I wrote about a year ago down below. It is still valid. I just reread it and I actually made some updates to it. Quick disclaimer though, I personally am not a CPA, although I have talked to a few of them over the course of my job. Also, I am focusing on taxes based in the US because that's where I live. There are variations state by state, but I don't talk about those. I just talk about the federal level of taxes. If you go into the deep black hole that is the IRS website, you will find a lovely brochure called Publication 926 Household Employers Tax Guide. That gives specific examples to help you determine whether or not you would be a household employee or an independent contractor. Thrilling. And basically, it really comes down to three things: how the work is done, where the work is done, and who provides the tools to get the work done. So in the article that I mentioned that I'd link below, I go over those three, and I have a checklist that's nice and neat at the very bottom of that article to help you decide whether or not you want to file as a household employee or an independent contractor. But the fact of the matter is that while most nannies are employees, some nannies can file as independent contractors. In fact, notice what the H&R Block website says. If the babysitter controls how the work is performed, the babysitter is self-employed. Self-employed workers usually provide their own tools. They offer their services to the general public in an independent business. So really, the bottom line is many workers, including nannies, don't 100% fit the role or criteria of an employee or an independent contractor. So really, each nanny needs to look at their nanny career and the circumstances surrounding it to decide for themselves whether they will file as an employee or an independent contractor. And if you have any doubts either way, go ahead and talk to a local tax professional. Whether you're filing as an employee or an independent contractor, this video will help you get all of your numbers and paperwork together to be ready to file your taxes. So in this video, you will see 4 hours of me filing my taxes in real life, condensed down, sped up, and annotated for your enjoyment and benefit. So let's do some taxes. Stage 1, throughout the year, as I make purchases, I label all of my receipts, whether it's work or personal, at the top of the receipt. And so then this is me just going through and organizing all my receipts by the month. I also do filter out receipts that I don't need, that are not business expenses, or I do have multiple businesses, so you see me in here kind of ignoring things, and it's because it's for a different business. Is stage 2, the printing stage. I am normally pretty minimal, but for me, business paperwork is super important, so I don't do those electronically. I like to have them on file. And just all of my paperwork. I go through and print out my bank statements because I don't have them mailed to me, and I print out any invoices that I had throughout the year. Then stage 3 is to assemble. Quickly putting together my nanny binder for 2020. This is what my disc binders look like. I just got these in and I'm super excited because they come in this gray and a black, and I do have a couple of special colors that I'm thinking of using for giveaways. So then, as you can see, the blur filter begins, and I use cardstock or craft paper as dividers. And because this is my personal one, I didn't put as much effort into it. So you will see me using inferior materials because I didn't want to use the materials that I do use when I sell them. Also, a quick shout out to CPG Gray. I love him and his videos. They're hilarious educational videos, and he is where I stole my top sneaky cover for some of the sensitive information that you could still see with the blur on. As you can see, I just go ahead and use my washi tape to make my tabs, whereas normally they are made with cardstock and stickers, and they're like really cute and sturdy. But once again, it was mine, so I didn't really care. I also usually put my IRS papers and any tax related papers right in the front, but obviously I didn't show you that. So stage 4 is highlighting. In the beginning, I do put a key on each page just because, but on your tax tracker, there's also a spot for a key in the bottom right corner of that. So I just go through and highlight, and as you can see, I go through pretty quickly, and it's because I just kind of know what my business expenses are and like what stores they're coming from, so I can kind of sweep through these pretty quick. But I generally have a color for income and expenses, and I just go down the rows and highlight those. Also, I do cross-check with my receipts, which is kind of off camera, like to the side that you can't really see me doing. I do glance over there a lot to make sure that I'm not missing any expenses. You will notice that I bank with Sound Credit Union and Bank of America. I recommend, if you don't already have a checking account, to open one with a credit union because they usually have really good interest rates and savings accounts and things like that. And then the reason that I'm with Bank of America is because my expenses that I charge for my businesses, I use a credit card. One, because I don't believe in doing anything with cash, just so that you always have a paper trail, but also because Bank of America is who the Alaska Airlines credit card is through. And I recommend that if you are going to have a business credit card, make sure that it is a rewards card, because why not be getting miles while you're making purchases that you would have had to make anyways for your business. Stage 5, I do all of my totaling. So I just go through and total up all of the same colors and then write their totals on the front of each statement. You'll also see me pausing in here. Some of my bigger purchases that I know I will have to separate out when I itemize my taxes, I do. But some general nanny expenses that you guys can look for throughout the year include things like your nanny work clothes, anything that you buy for the kids that you don't get reimbursed for, any education that you get for it. If you get my nanny binder, that's also a tax write-off. So there are a lot of expenses throughout the year that you can take note of. So you'll notice that I circle and make arrows to the top of my invoices and statements sometimes, and that's because if I made a return, then I have that on my statement as well. And I try to be honest when I'm doing my taxes, so if I bought something but later returned it, then I don't count that as a business expense, because technically it was like I never spent the money at all. Also, you'll see me reference the Cash App because they just come in as payments of Cash App on your statement. So then I go through and I write the people's names. Then, of course, I do love using sticky notes to make quick little cheat sheets. I total up what my bills are monthly because that is different for me than office supplies or business expenses or mileage reimbursement that I calculate on that tax tracker page later. So I do separate those out. If you are a self-employed nanny, you will, for your business expenses, need to fill out a Schedule C. So that is why you'll notice me separating out some of my expenses for bigger expenses and then like general office supplies and things like that, because on your Schedule C, you do want to try to be specific with what your expenses are. You'll also notice me adding a bill. I forgot that because of COVID, I did have to subscribe to Zoom. So I totally spaced on that. And so about halfway through the year, I started that. And you'll notice me going back through and white out everything on my page because I have to add in the Zoom bill. Also, for those of you who don't yet have the annual tax tracker, you'll notice me checking off a lot of boxes to the left, and those are to make sure that I have the right documents in my binder. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. If you'd like to get your own tax tracker or Complete Nanny Binder, you can do so through Etsy or through my shop page, both of which will be linked down below. All of the supplies that you saw in this video, I'll link below as well. So I hope you guys have a great day and a great tax season as you file all of your taxes. And if you have any other questions about starting your nanny business or how to do your nanny taxes more specifically, or you just want some one-on-one help, feel free to reach out and schedule a nanny mentoring session. Until next time, bye guys.